In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Hello, sir. You and I, we have met many years ago. Perhaps you do not remember me. Do you not recognize the scar on my cheek? The pain in my eyes? I am Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Now, sir, prepare to die. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Monday night. It's Bible study night. You know what that means? You know what that means. It's time to get into some Enoch. We have started the book of Enoch last night, and we shall pick it up again tonight, figure out where it lies, but I've got to get that out of my screen before it drives me crazy. Hang on one second. How is everybody? How's your Monday? Do you feel happy? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel tired? Do you feel drugged down? Do you feel like the week is going to drag on forever, even though it just started? Do you feel like it's cold outside because it's freaking cold outside? Do you feel like you just need to sit back and have a nice hot cup of coffee? I know I do. How are you? Who's first in chat? Amy, right off the bat with her 3-month membership. Congratulations, Amy, on your 3 months. She says, hello, Untethered Live family, much love. And continued support with that J tag. It's green now. Congratulations. I see you've been watching Princess Bride, Amy. How are you? Amanda says you get the gold star for being first in chat, and here it is. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Amanda says, hi, Amy. Maybe it's Maybelline. Hi, Mabel and Hannah. Mabel says, ciao, everyone. Jake and Amanda, how are you? Fantastic. How are you? It's a bit nipply outside, but other than that, it's great. Judy's here. She says, hey, Jake and Amanda. Hi, Judy. How are you? Amanda says, hi, Mabel and Hannah. Judy says, hey, Amy. Amanda says, hi, Judy. Hang on, my chat jumped. Already, right off the bat. Judy says, hey, Mabel and Hannah. Mark Colin's here. Hey, Mark. What's up, brother? He says, first time being early. Well, wait till you see what's in store. See what happens when you show up early. Amanda says, hi, Mark. Judy says, hey, Mark. Amy says, Mark says, wave your hand. Amy says, hi, Jake, Amanda, Judy, Mark, Mabel, Hannah, and lurkers. Yes, if you're out there lurking, come on up to the plate and say hello. Might as well, everybody else will. Debbie says, hello, everybody. Hey, Debbie. Nice to see you. Amanda says, hi, Debbie. Amy says, the young employee that's supposed to cover for me failed last week. Oh, no. I have to train him for 2 hours for the next 3 days. Guy's over 21. The guy is over 21 and he does not know how to lock a door. If you're going to have a job, that's the first thing you need to learn is how to lock the door because people can come in when you leave. Understood. Well, make him stand out there in the cold for an hour, locking and unlocking the door. He won't forget it. Judy says, hey, Debbie. Shut it, lock it. Unlock it, open it. Shut it, lock it. Unlock it, open it. For an hour. Amy says 2 hours a day for 3 days. That's 6 hours, yes. Amy says, hi, Debbie, and liked, shared, and invited some friends. Excellent. Thank you very much. What did you guys think of the first foray into the book of Enoch? Did you get anything out of it? Did you like it? Did it scare you a little bit? Did it resonate? Did it seem ironic how closely to Revelations the first chapter of Enoch was? Well, obviously, it was told to Enoch 1,000 years before it was told to John of Patmos, or 1,500 years before Patmos. Maybe even more. I don't know. Enoch essentially is a pre-flood book, but the same story was told to him, and then it was told again to John, and he wrote it down for Revelations. So essentially, it's in the Bible 3 times. It's in Enoch, it's in Daniel, and it's in Revelations. The same story. Separated by eons. Amy says, I found out today that I got December 25th to January 2nd off. Woo woo. That's a long run. It's a whole week, ain't it? I would starve to death if I had to take off that long. I might starve to death anyway, but it won't be because they're not working. Judy says, good job, Amy. Amber says, good evening, family. Hi, Amber. How are you? Amy says, that's a good idea, Jake. I might just do that. Yeah, I think it is. If you don't know how to lock a door and you're over 21 years old, you have other problems. He might be lacking in some other areas. I'd be eagle-eyeing that guy. Amanda says, hi, Amber. Amy says, hi, Amber, the snow glitter boomer. Bomber? Amber, the snow glitter bummer. Boomer? How do you say that? A little squiggly line over the O? Or is that a 0? No, it's a 0. So it's just a bomber. Got it. Judy says, hey, Amy. Amber says, Miss Hammer. Amy, heart. Amy says, Enoch is intense. I think it is too. It drew me in immediately. I started flowing as soon as I started reading. And some things I read, I can't flow. You know, I read it and it's like one word at a time. It doesn't go in, you know. And then some things I read is like I'm not even reading it. I'm on the edge of the word. It's just coming out of my mouth like I've read it 1,000 times. I don't know what that is. I guess it's alpha waves in my brain. I don't know. What they call a flow state, whatever they call that. I like it when that happens. Amber says, guilty as charged. And Amber says, Judy, smiley face and heart. Amy says, I have paid time off, but I have paid time off built up. A lowly custodian, but I have benefits. But benefits are nice. I don't have benefits. Amy says, bummer, got it. Mark says, no such thing as a lowly job. We need custodians more than most realize. I get vacation time paid on each paycheck. I'm glad you got a good week off for the holidays. Yes, and I agree with that, Mark. There is no such thing as a lowly job. Every job is valuable and important and is required for a civilization to run properly. And the people that do the hard jobs like trash man, custodian, janitor, painter, you know, those people are the ones that work the hardest and keep us in this illusion of civilization, which if they disappeared, would vanish in a matter of weeks. Amber says, no worries, Jake. You and Miss Hammer will know soon enough about my thinking about your cards. Okay. I'm scared. That sounded like a threat. Mark says, more than, I got it, Mark. I got it. I speak typoese. And Mark says, amen. Judy says, so right, Mark. Judy says, hi, Linda. Linda says, I'm listening while rapping. LWW. Or loving Wally's Willie. You could do that. Amanda says, hi, Linda. Amy says, be scared. The postal inspector repackaged my card from Amber. Oh, my God. Am I going to walk away with shrapnel? Open the card and get a face full of shrapnel? Glitter everywhere. I'll have glitter beard for real. There's a new trend going around called glitter beard. Have you guys seen this? It's ridiculous. I may have to do it. Judy says, hey, Linda. Amber says, glitter fake snow threat with a mix of stickers. Oh, no. The sticker bandit. I hear you. I can't wait. I'm excited. I'm sure you put a lot of work and a lot of love into it. I'll be happy to see it, and it'll hang right there on my wall where I can see it every day. Linda says, Amber, I got your card today. Thank you. I opened it over the sink. Smart. So you knew it was coming. Okay. Maybe I need to open mine outside. Amber says, I'm just saying, the love I have for y'all is real, as is mine for you, Amber. I love you too. And Linda says, hi, Amy Hart. Amber says, Linda, smiley faces. Mabel says, Hannah puts her vote in for Jake Glitterbeard. Yeah. At least it wouldn't be gray. That's got to be an improvement. Amber says, love you. Love you too. Amber says, Hannah, good evening, lovely princess. Smiley faces and unicorns and hearts. It is a beautiful day. A little freezy, a little cold. I've been dealing with frozen lines all day, trying to get things working at the shop. You'd be surprised how much work don't get done when all the lines are frozen. We had a pressure washer go down. We had to replace that today because it cracked in the inside of it. A little metal pipe that the hose hook's to cracked, spraying water all out the side of it. Yep. Mabel says, Hannah says, hi, Amber, and thank you. Amber says, Mabel, thank you. Good evening, lovely friend. Amber, you're so sweet. Just eat you up. It's full of goodness. I love that. I love people that are so happy. Unless it's morning, and then I want to strangle you. Got to get that coffee in before all the love. Well, anyway, if you got a book of Enoch, break it out, open it up to chapter 13, verse 1 of the first book with the Watchers. And we'll get started in here in just a minute. Just give everybody a chance to get in and get settled and get happy and get their coffee and get their shoes off and kick back and ready to see what happens. And Judy says, totally agree, Jake. Not civil until 11. Right. Not human until 11, I don't think. I'm not a morning person. I don't start peaking till about 10 o'clock at night. That's when I start really getting amped up. It's just the nature of what I've always done my whole life. I've always worked at night as a musician, 4 o'clock in the morning is when I'm coming down. So I just never got the taste for daytime. It's weird because I can get up at 5 a.m. and work all day and be sluggish all day long, falling asleep on myself all day long. But I can work all night and be just jamming all night long. No problem. I am not a day person. I think when God said evening and morning, he meant it when he made me. Amber says, I'm not awake and friendly until noonish, until I'm civil, right? Judy says, right, Amber? Well, I think night people are a special breed. really do. I think they're different than everybody else. I also think the world couldn't exist without night people. We're the ones that give the day people a good time. And if they don't have that stress relief, they get all bent out of shape. Maybe it's just me. Well, let's go down and see what we got. Already open and ready. Amber says, I was a happy third shift waitress, right? I could do third shift. We began this book considerably talking about the angels and their stations and what they did. Not all of them, some of them, about 200 of them, decided to go against the natural order of things and make up their own plan. And they came to Earth and they started a new thing. And that thing God did not like. He ended up destroying the world over it, in fact. And I would imagine there's more to come on that subject. I'm pretty sure he's not done with that yet. Mark says, that's how humans have been wired since prehistoric days. God made us all special. Some to guard during the day and some to guard during the night. In an easy way to say it. I hear you. That makes sense. Judy says, 20 years factory third shift. That'll do it. That'll rewire your whole system, won't it, Judy? Change you into a different kind of being. A troglodyte. A night troll. That's me. I'm the guy lurking around in the midnight. All right. Chapter 13, verse 1, and it reads, And Enoch went and said, Azazel, thou shalt have no peace. A severe sentence has gone forth against thee to put thee in bonds, and thou shalt not have toleration nor request granted to thee because of thy unrighteousness which thou hast taught, and because of all the works of godlessness. Now, Azazel is the guy that led the charge in all of this. He started, and another guy named Samjaziel, however you say his name. Those two guys were the head angels, the ones leading the charge. Oddly enough, not Lucifer. He's got a different thing going on. I would imagine he was friends with these guys, though. They probably all worked together and hated the man, as it were. Sit around the water cooler bitching and complaining about how hard their job is, and we're not going to take it anymore. We're going to do our own thing. Let's start a labor union. Let's have sex with these women down here and see what we can make. Let's make them after our image. That's what it was. Well, unfortunately, that didn't work out too well for them. Because of all the works of ungodliness and unrighteousness and sin which thou hast shown to men, then I went and spoke to them all together, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them. Now I want you to picture this. What do you think would happen if you happened upon a group of 200 angels? What do you expect the scene to look like? You would think mighty men, shiny armor, big, powerful angels. These are rebels. They rebelled against God and came to earth and did a dirty, dirty thing. Not the case at all. When Enoch found them, he went looking for them. He had to go look for them. I don't know if the text is clear here, but he went looking all over the world for them, and he found them eventually. And when he found them, they were on the ground, trembling and sad and afraid. Why? These rebel angels, why are they sad and afraid? Because they realized what they did, and you can't take it back once you've done it. It's easy to make a mistake. It is not easy to repair a mistake. And when you're talking about cosmic circumstances, the stakes are cosmic. That's a big mistake. That changes everything, and they're aware of it. So, these angels at least, I don't know about some of the bigger ones, Azazel and Samjazel and all them, but these angels, the 200, I kind of pity them because they were kind of roped into it. They kind of went along with it, but they have to pay the ultimate price. Well, he found them, and they were all afraid, and fear and trembling seized them, and they besought me to draw up a petition for them, that they might find forgiveness, and to read their petition in the presence of the Lord of heaven. So they asked Enoch, hey, I know we've already been judged, but will you please go talk to him and tell him how sorry we are, and may we be forgiven? These angels are saying that, just so you know. For from thenceforward they could not speak with him, God, nor lift up their eyes to heaven for shame, for their sins for which they had been condemned. These angels could not even look up at heaven. They were that ashamed. And they should be, because what they did was alter God's plan. God created this world to be inhabited by humans for a reason. These humans have a purpose in God's plan. I don't know what that purpose is. We're not privy to it, but he did it for a reason. He didn't do it out of nowhere. So what happens when you screw that up? I imagine he gets a little upset about it. I imagine it takes quite a lot of work to build all of this. Without much effort at all, they just put a chink in all of it. I don't think that's very nice. Do you? Then I wrote out their petition and the prayer in regard to their spirit and their deeds of individually, and in regard to their requests that they should have forgiveness and length. And I went off and sat down at the waters of Dan River, in the land of Dan, to the south of the west of Hermon. So Mount Hermon, you can find Mount Hermon, and you can find the river southwest of Dan, or southwest of Hermon. That's the land of Dan and the river he's referring to. And I read their petition until I fell asleep. And behold, a dream came to me, and visions fell down upon me. And I saw visions of chastisement, and a voice came bidding me, to tell it to the sons of heaven and reprimand them. So not only did God respond, he told them to deliver a message to them and reprimand them, chew them out. He's not done with them yet. Not only is it no, but you're going to get a good butt chewing while you're at it. And when I awaked, I came unto them, and they were all sitting gathered together, weeping, and 𝕊𝕚𝕓𝕝𝖒. That is a expression. I think what that means is that they were in mourning. Let me look it up. Because I don't know what that means. Refers to a significant location in ancient tradition, often associated with the biblical story of the fallen angels in the book of Enoch. I knew that. Located in the northern region near Mount Hermon, between Lebanon and Cesner. Okay, so it's a place. I thought it meant something significant, and it might. But they're referring to a place. They were all together at this place weeping, which is between Lebanon and Cesner, with their faces covered. And I recounted before them all the visions which I had seen in sleep, and I began to speak the words of righteousness and to reprimand the heavenly watchers. Chapter 14. The book of the words of righteousness, and of the reprimand of the eternal watchers in ordinance, with the command of the Holy Great One in that vision. I saw in my sleep what I will now say with a tongue of flesh and with the breath of my mouth, which the Great One has given to men to converse with therewith. and understand with the heart. As he has created and given to man the power of understanding the word of wisdom, so hath he created me also, and given me the power of reprimanding the watchers, the children of heaven. I wrote out your petition, and in my vision it appears thus, that your petition will not be granted unto you throughout all the days of eternity, and that judgment has been finally passed upon you. Yea, your petition will not be granted unto you. And from henceforth you shall not ascend into heaven unto all eternity. And in bonds of the earth the decree has gone forth to bind you for all the days of the world, and that previously you shall have seen the destruction of your beloved sons, and ye shall have no pleasure in them, but they shall fall before you by sword. And your petition on their behalf shall not be granted, nor yet on your own. Not only will you not be forgiven, but this wicked thing you brought into the world will not be forgiven, and you're going to live long enough to watch me destroy them all. And then you're going to be imprisoned for eternity. You don't get forgiveness for this. Why? They blasphemed the Holy Spirit. That's why. Even though you weep and pray and speak all the words contained in the writing which I have written. And the vision was shown to me thus. Behold, in the vision, clouds invited me, and a mist summoned me. And the course of the stars and the lightnings sped and hasted me. And the winds in the vision caused me to fly and lifted me upwards, and bore me into heaven. And I went in till I drew near to a wall, which is built of crystals and surrounded by tongues of fire. And it began to affright me. I was scared, obviously. I would be too, Enoch. If I was suddenly lifted up and sped through the cosmos, faster than light, obviously, because the stars are speeding by him, until I came to heaven and it was surrounded by fire and crystals, yeah, I'd be a little terrified. I'd be needing a new pair of shorts, I would imagine. And I went in to the tongues of fire and drew near to a large house which was built of crystals, and the walls of the house were like a tessellated floor made of crystals, and its groundwork was of crystal. Its ceiling was like the path of the stars and the lightnings, and between them were fiery cherubim. A cherubim is another kind of angel, by the way. It's a small angel with wings. And they protect things. That's what they do. And their heaven was clear as water. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. Did you catch that? And their heaven? So apparently there's portions of heaven for the angels that are not the portion of heaven that where God is. All right, so what I'm gleaning from this is their habitation is in heaven above the stars. That's what I'm getting. Anybody read that differently? Let me know. A flaming fire surrounded the walls, and its portals blazed with fire. And I entered into that house, and it was hot as fire and cold as ice. So it's like drinking aftershock. Got it. Goldschlager. Yeah. There were no delights of life therein. Fear covered me, and trembling got hold upon me. As I quaked and trembled, I fell upon my face, and I beheld a vision, and lo, there was a second house, greater than the former, and the entire portal stood open before me, and it was built of flames of fire, and in every respect it so excelled in splendor and in magnificence and extent that I cannot describe to you its splendor and its extent. It's a sight that the only word to describe would be awe. I was in awe. I have no idea what I'm looking at, but it's awesome. and its floor was fire, and above it were lightnings and the path of the stars, and its ceiling also was a flaming fire. And I looked and saw therein a lofty throne. Its appearance was as crystal, and the wheels thereof as the shining sun. And there was the vision of cherubim, probably like the Ark of the Covenant, one on each side, wings spread out, God leaning up against two wings this way, two wings this way, like a chair. That's what the Ark of the Covenant looks like. And I'm guessing that's what he's seeing here, or something similar. In other words, the cherubim are surrounding the throne. Remember, cherubim are the angels that protect. They are guardian angels, if you will, or guard angels, more specifically. And from underneath the throne came streams of flaming fire, so that I could not look thereon. And the great glory sat thereon. God sat there. And his raiment shone more brightly than the sun, and was whiter than any snow. None of the angels could enter and could behold his face by reason of the magnificence and glory, and no flesh could behold him. You can't even walk in the room. You will just disintegrate. The celestial beings can't even look at him. He's that bright. The flaming fire was round about him, and a great fire stood before him, and none around could draw near to him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, yet he needed no counselor. And the most holy ones who were near to him did not leave by night nor depart from him. They were there constantly. They did not leave his side. And until then, I had been prostrate on my face. At that moment, I was laying face down on the ground with my arms spread out, prostrate. And the Lord called me with his own mouth and said to me, "Come hither, Enoch. Come hither, Enoch, and hear my word." And one of the holy ones came to me and walked me, and he made me rise up and approach the door, and I bowed my face downwards. Sorry, I lost my place. I gotta go back through it. Got it. And he answered and said to me, and I heard his voice, "Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness." I hate how they do that. You see how they do that? They stop the sentence and then go to the next sentence, and I think that's the end of the sentence. Forgive me. "Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice, and go, say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them." You should intercede for men and not men for you. That's what he told the angels. You, angels, should be looking after them, men, not the other way around. You got a man coming to heaven to intercede for you. Do you not see the problem here? I created you for them, not the other way around. "Wherefore have ye left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and lain with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons?" Why did you do that? "And though ye were holy, spiritual, living the eternal life, and have defiled yourselves with the blood of women, and have begotten children with the blood of flesh, and as the children of men have lusted after flesh and blood, as those also do who die and perish." You're angels. You're not supposed to do these things. You are a celestial being. You are holy. You live in eternity, in heaven. Why did you do this thing? defile yourself with blood and flesh. Therefore have I given them wives also, that they might impregnate them and beget. Therefore have I given them wives. What? Therefore have I given them wives also, that they might impregnate them and beget children by them, that thus nothing might be wanting to them on earth. But you were formerly spiritual, living the eternal life, and immortal for all generations of the world. And therefore I have not appointed wives for you. Oh, he's talking about men. I gave men wives so that they could put people into the future. But you are immortal. You don't have to put people into the future. You will be in the future. That's why you don't have children, angels. That's another thing you glean right here. Angels don't mate. They have no need to mate, but they do have the plumbing, apparently. So God has given them a good dressing down here saying, I made you immortal. Why do you want to have children? That's not your purview. That's their purview. That's why they have children, because they're not immortal. So that some part of them will be in the future. Thus, being one of the reasons we're here, to put people into the future. It's important to have children. That's how your bloodline survives. Right? That's your immortality on earth. That's why I have not appointed you wives. For as for the spiritual ones of the heaven, singular, in heaven is their dwelling. And now the giants who are produced from the spirits and flesh shall be called evil spirits upon the earth. Remember that. Pay attention. Those giants will be called the evil spirits. The demons, the things that possess people and cause problems in the future, are those offspring, their spirits. When they died, their bodies, their spirits are celestial. They're not humans. So when they die, their spirits don't immediately go back to the Father who gave it, because they are celestial. They have their own habitation. So now their spirits are just loose here on earth, floating around, disbodied. They have nowhere to go. They can't go back to heaven. They can't leave here. So they are the evil spirits, about 200 of them, and their offsprings. They will be the evil spirits upon the earth, and on the earth shall be their dwelling. Evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men, and from the holy watchers is their beginning and primal origin. Meaning they cannot go back to heaven, so they have to stay here on earth, the spirits, when they die, right? The spirit cleaves from the body because the body dies, because it's flesh. And the spirit is eternal, but can't go to heaven where eternal things live, so they remain here on earth, wreaking havoc wherever they can. That'll give you some answers. They shall be evil spirits on earth, and evil spirits shall they be called. As for the spirits of heaven, in heaven shall be their dwelling. But as for the spirits of the earth, which were born upon the earth, on the earth shall be their dwelling. And the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth, and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst, and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. You see what's happening here? So, every question I've ever been asked about why does this happen? Well, there have always been good and evil forces pushing and pulling on the people of the earth from eons past. It's always been this way. There are things that cause things to happen. When you see riots, when you see murders, when you see thefts, when you see people just freak out and start fighting for no reason. There's an evil force pushing on those people, interacting with them, changing their outlook on life, causing them to react in ways that are not positive. That's what these things are. The book of Enoch is telling you what you see with your own eyes every day of your life. He's giving a name to it. That's what that is. That's what evil is. That. Got it? Chapter 16. From the days of the slaughter and destruction and death of the giants, from the souls of whose flesh the spirits having gone forth shall destroy without incurring judgment, thus shall they destroy until the day of the consumption, the day of consummation, the great judgment, in which the age shall be consummated over the watchers and the godless. Yea, shall be wholly consummated. What does that mean? Consummated. You know, when you get married, the next act is to go and consummate the marriage by having sex with your bride. Notice that Jesus is called the bridegroom, and we, the church, is called the bride. There will be a holy marriage of sorts at Judgment Day, where Christ claims his bride, and then he will consummate that marriage. Now, I don't know what that means physically, but emotionally, spiritually, metaphysically, it's like a marriage. That's what you can expect. All right. And now, as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say to them. One other thing I'd like to point out. It's not dwelled upon. It's mentioned in the book of Ezekiel, and there's a couple of other places in the Bible that mention it briefly. And some of the descriptions of what they call angels could be better pronounced the craft that they were in. It is my belief that the things that we see in the skies that cannot be explained, and the phenomena that go around the earth like orbs and such that cannot be explained, are these watchers moving about. I think they've always been here. That's why we've always had stories about them. And I think that every civilization has known about them and wondered about them, because it's not a thing that pertains to us. They don't interact with us physically. They do that in spirit. But occasionally we catch a glimpse of them moving about. And I think if they live in the heavens, which is above the stars, they got to get there somehow. Now, earlier they talked about portals. And even earlier they talked about craft. Or you could interpret it that way. My guess is they have vehicles. So that would be what you see in the skies. There's no such thing as aliens. Now, as to the watchers who have sent thee to intercede for them, who had been aforetime in heaven, say this to them. You have been in heaven, but all the mysteries had not been yet revealed to you, and you knew worthless ones. And these, in the hardness of your hearts, you have made known to the women, and through these mysteries, women and men work much evil on earth. Say to them, therefore, you have no peace. God just insulted them. He just told them, you think you know something. But a true master never teaches a student all of his tricks. And what I've taught you are the worthless tricks. You don't know the good tricks. I do, though. You will have no peace. You taught the worthless tricks that I taught you to men and women so that they could do worthless tricks on each other. Wait to see what I pull out on you when it's time. God is Chuck Norris, basically, in that metaphor. Chapter 17. And they took and brought me to a place in which those who were there were like flaming fire, Jinn, maybe. The people that were there were like flaming fire. If you read Middle Eastern folklore, there's a thing called a jinn, which is a evil spirit or a disembodied angel. And they are built of fire and smoke, and they're called jinn. It's where we get the story of the genie from. Anyway, that's what that is. And when they wished, they appeared as men, so they could change their form and look like people. And they brought me to the place of darkness, and to a mountain, the point of whose summit reached to heaven. This is in every religion in the world. There's lore about a mountain, Olympus or whatever, Zion. Every religion, even ours, has a mountain. So apparently in a spiritual realm, there's a mountain that reaches to heaven that we can't see. And I saw the places of the luminaries and the treasuries of the stars and of the thunder and of the uttermost depths, where were a fiery bow and arrows in their quiver, and a fiery sword, and all the lightnings, and they took me over the living waters. That's Jesus, by the way. And to the fire of the west, which receives every setting of the sun. And I came to a river of fire, in which the fire flows like water and discharges itself into the great sea towards the west. I believe he's talking about the sun here. He's seeing the sun, or something like it. And I saw great rivers, and came to the great river, and to the great darkness, and went to the place where no flesh walks. And I saw the mountains of the darkness of winter, and the place whence all the water of the deep flow. And I saw the mouths of all the rivers of the earth, and the mouth of the deep. Now he's in the earth. He could be talking about the center of the earth. That's a good idea. We think the center of the earth is magma, liquid nickel, metal that's on fire, like the sun. The center of the earth is like the sun. And he may be in there and seeing all of that where no man walks. I may have misread the beginning of that. He said the place of the luminaries, that's up in heaven, that's the stars. But it may be he went up and then he went down. In other words, macro and micro. Everything outward, everything inward. That may be what he's talking about. That's Principles of Physics, by the way. This is a very scientific book, in case you haven't noticed. He's using different terminology, but everything he's describing is scientifically accurate. I saw the treasuries of all the winds, and I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth, and the firmament of the heaven. As you know, the firmament is anything that's above the dirt. There's the firmament where the birds fly, the firmament where the stars are, and the firmament where heaven is, and the firmament where the waters are, which is above heaven. He created the world in the waters and out of the waters. Got it? That's a thing we've never seen, but it's out there, I would imagine. Winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven, singular. And I saw how the wind stretched out the vaults of heaven. This wind is solar wind, by the way. You know, the sun pushes out cosmic beams of wind. It's actually charged particles, but it pushes, right? It feels like wind. It moves things in space. That's why they have the solar sail idea, where they can put a big sail on a spaceship and fly across the sky by the sun pushing it. That's what he's talking about, I would imagine. And the vaults of heaven, 13 times in Genesis, God says he stretched out the heavens. He unfurled it like a tent. Those are vaults. The vaulted ceiling, right? So he's describing the shape of space, vaulted, which makes sense. It would be a geometric shape. It would not be nebulous. because it's designed. It has a shape. The winds stretched out the vaults of heaven and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven, which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. And I saw the winds of the earth carrying the clouds, and I saw the paths of the angels, and I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. I want you to know that this is a goat farmer from 4,000 years ago. Okay? He's never seen a telescope. He's never been in an airplane. He's never been to school. He does not know math. The only thing he knows is what he has seen with his eyes with his time on this earth, which is mostly goats and wagons. Period. He's never seen high technology. He's never seen computers. He's never seen an abacus. Right? And this man is describing to you the atmosphere and the heavens and the nebula in space and the way the sun moves. You can't look at the sun and tell that it has lips of flames, but he describes it here. He told you what the center of the earth looked like and all the place where the magma comes out. He told you about the winds. They didn't know about the jet stream 4,000 years ago, how it brings the rains, how it circles the earth and feeds all of the land, how convexed water, what do you call it? You know, when it gets hot and it evaporates and goes up and it rains back down. Is that convex? That's not convex, is a curve, right? You know what I'm saying. Circulating. Shut up, Jake. He knows these things because he's looking at them and they're being described to him as this angel is flying him around, showing him the creation of God. He's getting a tour of the cosmos. That's what's happening here. It's fascinating. Condensation. Yes, thank you, Amy. It's amazing what he's seeing. The pillars of heaven, those are the nebula where the star nurseries are that everybody says they're forming stars. They're not. Those are the treasuries of stars, though. That would make sense because that's where they're cobbled together. Or those could be galaxies, treasuries of stars. Think about what he's seeing. And he knows what he's looking at. He's describing it. You can't see that from planet Earth with your eyes. The only way he would know it is if he'd been there, saw it with his own eyes. You want proof? Listen to the details. The devil is in the details. All the stars to their setting. You know about the pole star, right? I'm sure he did not. The pole star is a star that does not move in the sky. But all the stars in the sky move around it at all times, right? As far as we can tell, that is the axis of our galaxy. We don't know. We're guessing. That might be the axis of heaven. I don't know. But that star don't move. All the other stars rotate around it. That's what he's talking about, the setting of the stars. From an earthly perspective, it looks like they go down and then come up the next evening, right? So, and he saw the winds carrying the clouds on the jet streams. And I saw the paths of the angels. That's interesting. What does that mean? Does that mean he could see the angels moving about on earth? Or do they have predestined paths that they have to travel upon? I don't know. And I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. What does that mean? Could mean that at the end of the earth, heaven and earth meet. I don't know. And I proceeded, and I saw a place which burns day and night. where there are 7 mountains of magnificent stones, 3 towards the east, 3 towards the south, 3 towards the east. Sorry. Let me read that again. 3 towards the east, 3 towards the south. And as for those towards the east, was of colored stone, and one of pearl, and one of jacinth, and one towards the south of red stone. But the middle one reached to heaven like the throne of God of alabaster, and the summit of the throne was of sapphire. And I saw a flaming fire, and beyond these mountains is a region to the end of the great earth. There the heavens were completed. The end of the great earth and the heavens were completed. That's the end, the completion of heaven. Is he talking about the solar system or the galaxy or the universe? I don't know. I've always maintained that the earth is the center point of all things. Everything was created around the earth. God was on earth when he created the stars, and he stretched them out from earth. So we're in the center of the universe, as far as I can tell. It sounds like he's describing the end of that, the end of the stretching out. I'm not sure. Does he mean earth physically or earth's presence and everything that's around it? I don't know. I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth, meaning it was without measure in both directions, like a waterfall of fire. And beyond that abyss I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it, Jupiter. There was no water upon it, and no birds, but it was a waste and a horrible place. I saw there were 7 stars, like great burning mountains. Yeah. We're talking about Jupiter now. Jupiter is not a solid planet. It has no ground, and it has no air. It's just gas, a ball of gas that is condensed by gravity. And it is horrible. The winds are thousands of miles per hour. It's hot. The gravity is so strong that it would crush you. It's full of radiation. If you even got near Jupiter, you would die of radiation poisoning before you ever got to it. Burned alive. That's what he's talking about. Could the 7 stars be the rest of the planets, or could it be the moons around Jupiter? I don't know. Like burning mountains. Like, have you ever seen the earth from the moon? It's bright, like the sun is shining on it. It's real bright. It looks like it's on fire, right? If you've never seen that before and had nothing to reference it to, you might say it was on fire. Or bright like fire. Remember, they didn't have light bulbs. The brightest thing he ever saw was the sun or the fire in a camp. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, "This place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven." That be the angels. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times, and he was wroth with them and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years. So the angels or the stars have an appointed time to do their thing. And they did not show up because they were busy doing something else that they should not have been doing. And it made God mad, and he bound them for 10,000 years, or even 10,000 years, which is a figure of speech, meaning for a very long time. Now we get switched back over to the good angels. Those are the bad angels. They're good angels too. Michael, Uriel, Gabriel, all of those guys. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angel who has connected themselves with women, and their spirits assuming many different forms are defiling mankind, and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons and as gods. Don't read over that. I'll read that again. That's important. Don't read over that. Here shall stand the angels who connected themselves with women, the 200 that went down to Mount Hermon. This is their place. And their spirits assuming many different forms, meaning they can appear as anything they want to appear as. Why would they do that? To defile mankind and lead them astray and talk them into sacrificing to demons as gods, like abortion, like many of the things that we do on this earth. As if we are giving obeisance to God, we give obeisance to other things like video games and movies and such. All of this is demonic. All of this is a push away from God. Everything. They are responsible for that. And here shall they stand till the day of the great judgment, in which they shall be judged till they are made an end of, cast into the lake of fire. And it just occurred to me that he may be describing the lake of fire. Now, the lake of fire has not opened up yet. I don't know if it's physically on earth or in another dimension. I don't know which. But it appears on earth at judgment. Well, they're in space. He's talking about things in space and about things on earth. Heaven and earth meeting. That sounds like a dimension to me. Because you can be in two places at once in a dimension. God could be right in front of your face and you not perceive him because he's in a dimension that you can't perceive. A fifth or higher dimension. So the end of the earth and end of earth and heaven might be where the dimensions collide, and he might be standing at the precipice of the lake of fire looking at it. And it sounds like that to me now when Uriel made that description. Here shall they stand until the great day of judgment, until they are made an end of. And the women also of the angels who went astray shall become sirens. Sirens are a mythical being that call you to the rocks from ships, right? They sing a beautiful song and they call you to destroy yourself by smashing your ship into the rocks. That's a pretty powerful visual metaphor, if you ask me. So you want to know why some women are like they are? You want to know what feminism is all about? There you go. And I, Enoch, alone saw the vision, the end of all things, and no man shall see as I have seen. And these are the names of the holy angels who watch. Uriel, one of the holy angels who is over the world and over Tartarus. Raphael, Donatello, and Leonardo, they're ninjas. Raphael, one of the holy angels who is over the spirits of men. That would be a guardian angel? I don't know. Raguel, one of the holy angels who takes vengeance on the world of the luminaries, stars. Michael, one of the holy angels, to wit, he that is set over the best part of mankind and over chaos. Sarakel, one of the holy angels, who is set over the spirits, who sin in the spirit. So bad spirits. He's set over the bad spirits, who sin spiritually. Gabriel, one of the holy angels, who is over paradise, and the serpents and the cherubims. Here's another gleaning. Remember in the book of Genesis, when Adam and Eve are diddy-bopping around, being the only people God created of that bloodline, and suddenly she finds herself talking to a serpent. There's been a question for many years, what kind of serpent? Is this a snake? Is it a dragon? Is it a dinosaur? What is happening here? It's an angel. Apparently, there are angels that are serpents, because they are just now mentioned alongside of cherubim, which are angels. Serpents and cherubim. Now, in the Bible, Satan, or Lucifer, was a cherubim. He was the cherub that covered the mercy seat, the protector of the mercy seat. He was also a cherub that led the choir in heaven, a cherub over music. So a cherubim and a serpent might be the same thing or similar things. We use that word to describe snakes because they're serpentine. But serpent and serpentine might be different words in the old tongue. I don't know. Continuing. 𝕊𝕦𝕬𝕪, one of the holy angels whom God set over those who rise. People who have the warrior spirit. And I proceeded to where things were chaotic. And I saw there something horrible. I saw neither a heaven above nor a firmly founded earth, but a place chaotic and horrible. And there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains and burning with fire. And then I said, for what sin are they bound? That's probably the Pleiades star system, by the way. I think that's 5 stars, though. But notice the book of Revelations talks about 7 stars, too. 3 on either side of the one in the middle, which is Christ. Could be that he's referring to. I don't know. 7 stars is a model of a thing that is mentioned a couple of times in the Bible. I said, for what sin are they bound, and on what account have they been cast in hither, into this horrible place? Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me, and was chief over them, said, Enoch. Sorry, that was badly punctuated. Supposed to be a period there. Then said Uriel, one of the holy angels who was with me and was chief over them. That would be Lucifer, I think. And said Enoch, why dost thou ask? And why art thou eager for the truth? Well, you brought me here, dude. Why wouldn't I ask? You mean you haven't figured out why I'm asking questions? I'm in heaven right now looking at things I've never seen before. Yeah, I'm asking questions. Eager for the truth, just like this guy is. These are the number of the stars of heaven, which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord, and are bound here till 10,000 years. The time entailed by their sins are consummated. And from thence I went to another place. All right, so one thing you can glean from this is that angels are not perfect. They make mistakes, and they disobey God. So they have some form of free will to do so. I don't know if they have complete free will, but they basically can get away with things. Or do things and not get away with it because they're being held prisoner for 10,000 years. But I don't know if these angels have a name. We may get back to them later. Maybe in the book of Luminaries or something. I don't know. But that's what he's describing, angels who have sinned. And I don't think these are the same angels as the ones we were talking about earlier, because we're in a different place looking at a different location, and there's 7 of them, not 200. So I think these are different beings. I don't know if we'll ever get an answer to that while we're on this earth or not. We'll see. The time entailed by their sins are consummated, and from thence I went to another place, which was still more horrible than the former. And I saw a horrible thing, a great fire there which burnt and blazed, and the place was cleft as far as the abyss, bottomless, being full of great descending columns of fire. Neither its extent or magnitude could I see, nor could I conjecture. And then I said, how fearful is the place, and how terrible to look upon. So, he's seeing something that he cannot even describe. He can't see the end of it in any direction. It's just the biggest thing he's ever seen. And it is perplexing, to say the least. And he asks the angel, what a terrible place. Is there a place worse than this? Then Uriel answered me, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me, Enoch, why hast thou such fear and affright? Why are you afraid? You know you're with an angel, right? Dude, look at what you're showing me. You can't find that in the field where I grew up. I would say he was probably terrified. It's amazing he could speak. And I answered, because of this fearful place, and because of the spectacle of the pain. And he said unto me, this place is the prison of the angels, and here they will be imprisoned forever. So, that's where they're going. To a place that is terrible, with columns of fire that you can't find the end of. And thence I went to another place, and he mountain and of hard rock. I think that's a typo or a missing phrase. I went to another place, and the mountain, no, it was a mountain of hard rock. I'm just going to skip over that because it's not complete. And there was in it 4 hollow places, deep and wide and very smooth. How smooth are the hollow places, and deep and dark to look at. Then Raphael answered, one of the ninjas, one of the holy angels who was with me. So Enoch is being carried around by 4 angels. I don't know if you gathered that by what we've read, but that's what's happening. There's 4 angels giving him the tour of the place. He's seeing everything, all of the mysteries that God has not shown us, things that we will never see, probably. We might when we go to heaven, I don't know. Maybe not, though. I don't think these places have anything to do with us. Why he's showing Enoch is beyond me, but he's showing them. One of the holy angels that was with me, Raphael, said to me, these hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein, yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. You might get to see this place. These places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment, and till their appointed period, till the period appointed, till the great judgment comes upon them. Now, do you remember that I told you that I don't think that you have any knowledge of time passing after you die? I'm not sure, but I think that from your perspective, when you die, you close your eyes and you open your eyes. And when you close them, you're here on earth. And when you open them, you're standing in front of the white throne judgment. That's my assumption of what's happening based on what I've learned. This just describes the place where the spirits go to wait. So when you die, you go there. And you wait until Judgment Day. That's the appointed time. And then you're brought to the white throne judgment. And I don't think that you're aware of your time there. We'll see what he says. I saw the spirit of a dead man making suit, and his voice went forth to heaven and made suit. He was making a claim. And I asked Raphael, the angel who was with me, and I said unto him, this spirit which maketh suit, whose is it? Whose voice goeth forth and maketh suit to heaven? He answered me, saying, this is the spirit which went forth from Abel, whom his brother Cain slew, and he makes his suit against him till his seed is destroyed from the face of the earth, and his seed is annihilated from amongst the seed of men. Okay, well, that answers my question. So you have some knowledge of being there, because this man is the spirit of Abel, and he's talking about destroying the Kenites, which are the descendants of Cain, which are of their father the devil and part responsible for a lot of the bad that happens in the world, according to the Bible and according to Jesus. So, apparently, when you go to this place, you have some agency. I don't know. Then I asked regarding it. And regarding all the hollow places, why is one separated from the other? And he answered me and said unto me, these three have been made that the spirits of the dead might be separated, and such a division has been made for the spirits of the righteous, in which there is the bright spring of water. And such has been made for sinners when they die and are buried in the earth, and judgment has not been executed on them in their lifetime. And here their spirits shall be set apart in this great pain till the great day of judgment and punishment and torment of those who curse forever, and retribution for their spirits. All right, I just had another inclination. It just occurred to me, Enoch lived a long time before Jesus lived. So in fact, he may be talking about paradise, Abraham's bosom, which is on planet Earth. I'm learning just like you are. Give me time, I'll put it all together. I think they're describing Abraham's bosom, which is no longer in use. Remember, when Jesus died, he let all those spirits go back to God. Okay, that makes a little sense. It's coming together. There he shall bind them forever, and such a division has been made for the spirits of those who make their suit, who make disclosure concerning their destruction, when they were slain in the days of the sinners. Such has been made for the spirits of men who were not righteous but sinners, who were complete in their transgression. And of the transgressors they shall be companions, but their spirits shall not be slain in the day of judgment, nor shall they be raised from thence. Then I blessed the Lord of glory and said, blessed be my Lord, the Lord of righteousness, who ruleth forever. That's where we're going to stop. We'll pick up next weekend, chapter 23. Wow. My mind is blown. What about yours? Okay. I hope that touched your heart. I hope you learned something. I hope that it pulls some things together for you. I know it's doing that for me. I'm seeing things come together that I've only pondered about over my life. Things I put together and reading between the lines and figuring things out for myself. I'm seeing evidence of it here. I think what we just witnessed was Abraham's bosom, paradise, or whatever you call it in your religion or belief system. The Bible calls it paradise, and men call it Abraham's bosom. And we know that that place no longer exists. Or, I mean, it exists, but it's no longer being used, because now thanks to Christ, when you die, you instantly go back to the Father who gave you. You don't have to go there anymore. So Enoch is, in a way, a forerunner of Christ. He was shown things that pertain to his time. Well, this is another epoch when Christ was born, a whole nother generation of people, a whole nother world. There was the flood between him and Jesus. So after that, God came down to Abraham and made him promises. There was the whole thing about Melchizedek somewhere in there, who was a forerunner of Christ. Then there was the army of Joshua, who was metaphorically a forerunner for Christ, but only in metaphor. And then there was Christ, who died for our sins. And then there was Revelations, which is the ending of all of this drama that is played out over the eons. The one thing I want you to take away from this is the specificity by which Enoch speaks. He's describing things that actually exist in a way that a modern man with an education, scientific and otherwise, can understand and start to think this was written 4,000 years ago by a goat herder. I want that to impress upon you. These are not dumb people. This guy understood some stuff that generations of people never understood. He saw things the world isn't ready to know. It's amazing to me. Discuss. But before you do, please, it's important, do me a favor. All of these things. Hit that subscribe button. Press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free. It's effortless. It's right in front of you. And it really does help the channel with the algorithm. And it helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you please do that? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you love learning about His awesome creation and you'd like to help me keep bringing this to other people, you can do that by joining the channel. Get yourself a J-Tag. Put a super chat in the chat box. Buy a t-shirt. But if you feel led to send your tithes, offerings, or love offerings to this humble ministry, you can do that by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband, or Cash App users can go to $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It does feed me. It does keep my lights on. It is important, and I would appreciate it if you helped. You don't have to, but if you can, that would be wonderful. Now, I will do everything in my power to be worthy of that support. I will answer all of your questions and comments. I will ponder in every way possible to figure out all of the mysteries of the universe, as I always do, right now. Okay. What in God's creation did we just witness? That's the best writing I've ever read. I don't know about you, but I've read quite a few things, and I've watched bukus of movies, almost a quarter of them, I would say. All the movies. I've seen a lot of movies. And I can tell you I've never witnessed one that is more well put together and more connections made from start to finish than this story. If it's not real, it's the best fiction that has ever been created, hands down, without mistake. It is the best one-to-one fantasy to reality comparison ever made. If it's fake, it can't be. It is not possible to be. The book of the Bible, just by itself, 237 times accurately predicts the future and is right. And thousands of times describes things that you can go find in the dirt today. The book of Enoch is doing the same thing, but scientifically. It's amazing. And I hope that you're learning something. And I hope that you appreciate what we're trying to do here, which is take away all the stops. You don't need a priesthood. You don't need to come to a guy to tell you that you've been absolved. You are a creation of God. You can go to him yourself. You can learn his world yourself. You don't need an interpreter. You can just do the work and figure out what you believe. This religion that we follow, this worldview that we have, has been here from the beginning of time. We're not new. This isn't a new thing. It has gone through many iterations over the generations and somehow has remained intact until now. Don't know how. You think that's easy? Write something down on a piece of paper and tell me where it is in a week or a year or a month or 1,000 years or 10,000 years. Yet every word Christ spoke, we can read it today. Every word Enoch spoke, every word Job spoke, which is the oldest book known to man, we can read it today. Isn't that amazing? I don't know about you, but that screams truth to me. Mark says that's how humans have been wired since prehistoric days. God made us all special, some to guard during the day and some to guard during the night. In a way to say it, easy way to say it. I thought I read that already. Yes. Judy, hang on. Judy says 20 years of factory third shift. I feel like I read all these. Amy says I worked third shift for 8 years. It breaks down a person's body. I'm happier on second shift. What it is here. Hey, what it is. Nice to see you, brother. I'm driving tonight. I'm just listening to stop. Didn't say hello to all. Well, I'm glad you're here, buddy. Nice to see you. Keep your eyes on the road. I'll do the talking. Judy says, I hate second shift. Me too. I do have a life. And my chat jumped. Hang on. I got it. I found it. Judy says, hey, what it is. Amanda says, hi, what it is. Amber says, good evening, what it is. And Lady B has her membership for 1 month now. Says, God bless everyone tonight. I love you all, heart. Thank you, Lady B, for the membership. That yellow J tag looks good on you. Congratulations. Amber says, Lady B, good evening. Amanda says, hi, lady. Lady B says, Amanda, heart prayers. Amber, heart, heart, heart. Judy says, hey, Lady B. Amy says, hi, Lady B. Lady B says, hey, sweetheart Judy and wonderful Amy, heart prayers. Amy says, angel quarters. Yep. What it is says, peace. Lady B says, peace and prayers. I'll see your peace and I'll raise your prayers. Anybody got a pizza? Amy says, hi, what it is, heart. Lady B says, I second that, Amy. Amy says, angels moving around, UFOs and USOs. And what's the UAP is the new one? They invented UAP because they didn't want to sound like retards by saying UFO. That's exactly what that is. Amy says, I've heard of jinn. It's like a genie, only worse. Yes, only evil. Whenever faced with evil, speak of Jesus, and they are scared of the name of Jesus. Amen to that. More so than that, they will flee from the name of Jesus. All you got to do is invoke his name. You have the power over evil spirits. Believe that. God created you above them. He created them to serve you, and they know that. And Amy says, condensation? Yes, that's the word I was trying to think of. Thank you. Amy says, great reading, Jake. Thanks. My pleasure, Amy. And Mark says, Abraham's bosom? You nailed it. That's what he's talking about. Amy says, the book of Enoch has Ezekiel vibes to it. It does, doesn't it? Oddly enough, they were both written a long time ago. So kind of in the same era. Kevin Bernard, old St. Bernard's here. He says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. I've been lurking, not chatting. Hey, Kevin, nice to see you, brother. You can chat. Lady B says, sure enjoyed the reading. Thank you, Lady B. Prayers. Amy says, hi, Pop Pop. Judy says, hey, Kevin. Lady B says, hey, Kevin. Lady B says, hey, Mark. Mark says, wavy hand. Amber says, Kevin, diamonds and hearts. Lady B says, wavy hand again. Nope. Wavy hand only once. Mark said wavy hand. Lady B says wavy hand back. Kevin says, hello, ladies. Hello, ladies. Amber says, Jake, beautiful reading tonight. Thank you. I needed the blessing tonight. Prayers and hearts. Amber, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing my best. I'm learning just like you are. Unfortunately, this is not my expertise. I am as dark. I'm in the dark as everybody else is. I'm putting it together while I'm reading it, so thank you for allowing me the latitude to ponder while I'm reading. Lady B says, Amber, prayers. Amy says, are you plowing any? Kevin, pop, pop. Amber says, Miss Hammer, thank you for sharing him and yourself. Oh, thank you, Amber. Hearts and prayers. Mark says, phrasing, Amy. Are you plowing? Are you plowing, Kevin? Pop, pop. Lady B says, Kevin, I know you are excited about being a grandparent. It's amazing. I wouldn't know. I don't have any grandkids. Bill Bennett, what's up, brother? He says, hello, UntetheredLive family. I'll have to rewatch. You always say that. How are you, sir? Good to see you. Amy says, are you making any money by plowing snow, Kevin? Is that better, Mark? Get specific. Amber says, pop, pop. Amy says, hello, Bill. And Mark says, yes, yes, it is. LOL. Yes, it is. Bill Bennett says, wasn't Matthew a sheep herder or Jesus a people herder? LOL. Yeah. And Jesus was not a people herder. No, his disciples were. Jesus said, come with me and I'll make you fishers of men. I'll teach them. You bring them to me. Mark says, I just think of Archer phrasing. I don't know what Archer is. Is that cartoon? Amanda says, hey, Bill. And Kevin says, Amy, barely made enough to fill my tank. Amy says, Jesus saves. You just have to ask and mean it. That's right. You got to mean it. You can't con God. He's smarter than you are. He knows if you're fooling. You got to mean it. You got to sincerely change your ways and go and sin no more, and he will save you. Amber says, I once had a friend named Mark. He had a pet otter. Probably why I remember him. I thought that was going to go somewhere else. It sounded like a nursery rhyme. Like there once was a man from Nantucket who's, whose hair was so long he could pluck it. He said with a grin as he wiped off his forehead, if I only had a ponytail holder, I'd tuck it. Is that how that goes? If I only had a scrunchie, I'd tuck it. Amanda says, hi, Kevin. Mark says, come to Canada, Kevin. My little island just got hit with 8 inches in the last few hours. Good gracious. Amber says, Bill, good evening, friend. Heart, face, smiley face and prayers. Judy says, hey, Bill. Mark says, otters are so cute, Amber. LOL. Once had one poop on the deck of my boat. That's not cute at all. April Rain's here. Hi, April. April says, hi, everyone. I'm here. Sorry I'm late. I'll have to rewatch. I was out shopping with Mom. Just got home. Nice. Amy says, hi, April, lovely. April says, good to see you all. Hugs and love, heart. Mark says, ran up, made eye contact, let it rip, gave a little happy run around, and jumped off. Nice. Mark says, I was like, you little varmint. Judy says, hey, April. Amy says, hi, April, lovely. Amber says, eyes, happy to see you. So happy to see you. Smiley face, hearts, and prayers. April says, hi, Amy, Amanda, Lady, Mark, Judy, and Jake. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Mark says, hey, April, it was a good read. Worth a rewatch, 100%. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mark. Amber says, LOL. Eyes. When I do public, anyone, hey. When I do public, everyone, hey. I say roll call style. I got it. April says, Amber, good to see you, heart. And absolutely will rewatch. Amanda says, hi, April. Amy says, UAP, unidentified aerial phenomenon. Right, because they don't want to sound retarded by saying UFO, because they know to somebody it's just an FO. It's only a UFO to the people that don't know what it is. April says, hi, Bill, and what it is. Good to see you, hugs. April says, hi, Kevin, love, heart. Lady B says, April, you are awesome. I wanted to send you a Christmas card, and I didn't get your address. I have Amy's. Maybe next year, sweetheart. Lady B says, hey, Bill, thumbs up and wavy hand. Linda says, I'm done rapping for tonight. At least I made a dent in it, and thanks, Jake, for the great read. My pleasure, Linda. Nice to see you. I'm glad you got your rapping done. What it is says, Jake, thank you for your service in greeting tonight. Or reading tonight. One of the two. You're welcome. It's my pleasure. It's my honor, actually. And I live to do it. Lady B says, have y'all seen Walter? Amy says, cough, cough, April says, LOL, smiley face. What it is says, so, Jake, are you the man from Nantucket? I am. Mark says, yeah, that's how that goes. LOL. Amber says, the bottom of the mountain here is still flooded out. Isn't it, though? And Lady B says, April, did you find any bargains? Amber says, they are still out with the flag people for the one-way blind spots for road recovery. I don't know what that means. I'm guessing you mean people that are repairing the road. Kevin says, Jake, so the beginning of Enoch's journey started when he came upon the angels that defiled women, and they asked him to petition God. Not exactly. The beginning of Enoch tells the story of the end of time in a brief synopsis at the beginning, but it's already in progress. I'm not exactly sure. We hadn't really got to it yet. I don't know if God chose Enoch or if he happened upon God and God just took him. I'm not exactly sure yet. But the book starts mid-end of the world. That's the first thing we read. It started off with a bang. And then it went back. Started telling the story, right? So these angels came to earth in Enoch's time. And for some reason, he was chosen as a representative. I'm not sure why. But when he went in search of the angels, and he went looking for them, he had to search them out. And when he found them, they were weeping and afraid, and he asked them to petition God on their behalf because of what they had done. But what they had done had already taken place. So this is a long period of time happening. I'm not exactly sure if that answers your question, but I'll get more in detail as we get further into the book, because I'm learning this too as we go. I've always assumed that God chose Enoch, but I haven't really read that yet. April says, yeah, I got some stocking stuffers for the kids and a few other things I could afford. It's going to be different this year. I don't have the money like I used to. Right on. I hear you there. Me neither. Amber says, huge pieces. Still one way the side water pond reverses are still over full. It's crazy. Still raining. Wow. Huge pieces of what? Mark says, amen, and thank you for your service. Thank you, Mark, for your service. I couldn't do this without you guys listening, so thank you. And April says, slowly climbing that ladder, LOL. I'm trying. April says, Enoch is definitely deep. It is that. Amber says, I mean, the constant rain washed out some of the roads here going up and down the mountain I live on. Oh, okay. Well, be careful going down the mountain. It'd probably be better if you went around the mountain when you come, because you'll be going around the mountain when you come. She'll be going around the mountain when she comes. She'll be going around the mountain when she comes. Amber says, Woodland, Washington. Okay. Washington State. The armpit of America. Lady B says, April, back in the day, I opened a savings account and I called it a Christmas fund. I would put automatic withdrawals in January and in November, and I would have enough for all friends and family coworkers. Nice. I've never made enough money to save. It takes every penny I make just to eat every day and keep my house running and keep gas in my truck. Keep my habits up to date. Keep my lights on. I've never ever figured out how to make more money. I'm just not smart that way. I'm an artist. I'm not a businessman. And I never met a friend who was good with numbers, a little Jewy, that could fix that for me. I would be perfectly happy being a dancing chicken if somebody else just made all the decisions and I could just do this thing that I do. Life didn't work out that way. Mark says, sorry to interrupt, but my butter tarts are almost done. The filling is just chilling, but bam. That sounded dirty, Mark. What is a butter tart? And what are they doing? April says, wow, Amber Love. Judy says, okay, Mark, what's a butter tart? My thought exactly. Mark says, that's a scary scenario to have to deal with, Amber. Hopefully you have provisions set aside for such scenarios. Yeah, I don't think the mountain's going to erode. It's not going to break off and float away, I don't think. But it can be devastating when you get cut off from the bottom of a mountain. Ask those people in west of North Carolina that had that big flood. It can be scary. Amy says, huge patches of road are washed out, and they have flaggers directing traffic. Translated Amber's comment. Got it. That makes sense. Yeah, because you'd run off the road if you didn't know it was there. I got it. That makes sense. And Amber says, I go in enough circles, mister. And Lady B says, Jake, hold on, my chat jumped. Lady B says, Jake singing Going Around the Mountain When She Comes. Amber says, I enjoyed the solo, though. Bing, 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 ding, 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 ding. Amber says, Mark, I'm from the East Coast. Me too. April says, yes, my mama told me about the banks having that she does that every year, and they have enough for Christmas. Every year, I'm going to work on that this year when I get bills paid off. And Amy says, those big words.
BJ.
Yes, please do. Thank you, Amy. Amber says, everything here is new. I assume you mean the book that we're reading? Or Mark says, you've never had a butter tart, Judy? It's essentially a pie crust with raisins, corn syrup, eggs, nutmeg, and brown sugar. Are you talking about an egg custard pie? So that's what that sounds like. Mark says, what? What? Except for the raisins. I don't know about the raisins. Amber says, Amy, these are reasons why I love you so. And Mark says, y'all don't know about butter tarts? Apparently not. April says, LOL, butter fart. No, butter tart. All right. Y'all listen to my song. I gotta go pee. I'll be right back.
BJ.
That's not the song. Wrong song, sorry.
Moonlit skies and fireworks. People laugh, people flirt all night long. But I just stay. So I drove down to the local bar where people come in their fancy cars to play their games. But I just stare. Then I saw you sitting there, all alone in that empty chair right next to you. I fell in love. Oh, baby. You looked down and you took my hand. You said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss. And I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away. At that bar where we first met, you smiled at me and my palms got wet, and you just looked away. But I just stayed. You said, been in love and it never works. I always end up getting hurt, and I ain't doing that no more. There ain't no way walked away. But you just stared. But you looked down and you took my hand and said, boy, I hope you understand that I'm not a girl that needs a man. I got my life and all my plans, and if you were there, you'd just be in my way. Girl, it ain't gotta be like this. I'd give you everything but just one kiss, and I don't care what you say. I fell in love with you anyway. Oh, Elizabeth, you take my breath away.
Oh, yeah. All right. That was Elizabeth by Jake Johnson. I hope you liked it. Mark says, West Coast in Canada, but y'all scare me. You don't know what a butter tart is? We're Southern. If it ain't got salt on it, we probably don't know, or sugar. Judy says, okay, Mark, never heard of it. Mark says, butter fart. Lady B says, April start January 2026. Pay April 1st. We will always, always, always have bills and insurance. Pay yourself first. Nobody else will. Live with within your means. Be frugal. Prayers. Pay Jake first. How about that? I work hard too. Just kidding. Just don't forget me. That's all I ask. Mark says, it's delicious, Judy. April says, OMG, y'all make me laugh so hard my face hurts. Ha ha ha. And she hits me with a $9.99 super chat. Thank you. Thank you very much, April. Appreciate that. No words but a cute kitty hugging a heart. Or eating a heart. Maybe he's eating a heart. Amber says, I should scare you regardless. I'm just honest about it. I shouldn't scare you regardless. I'm just honest about it. Wild card by birth. Me too. April says, feed Jake right now. LOL. Thank you, April. I'll take it any way I can get it. CashApp $, jakejohnsonband. Lady B says, Jake, excited to get the hoodie. It's coming. It's going to be a little bit later than Christmas, unfortunately, because I had a problem at the shop, but I got it fixed. And we're working on it, and it's coming. Judy says, sounds like something I would like to try. What is it, a butternut? Butter tart, that's what it was. Bill Bennett says, your chat's about to jump. Hang on, I'll find it. Bill Bennett says, I was never meant to have money, but rich in family and friends. Right on. I kind of feel the same way because I can't seem to make none. I don't know how people do it. Every job I've ever had, and I make good money sometimes in my life. I have. I'm not right now, but I have in the past. But every penny I make ends up getting gone. And I don't spend a lot of money. I don't go out and buy a lot of stuff. I'm not a spender, you know. I pay bills. I'm as responsible as I can be. But I just ain't never figured out how to save money. Those people have magic I don't have. Mark says, no. I'll email you a picture after it's done, Jake. All right. I'll check it out. I'll definitely try it. What it is, so what you're saying, Jake, is that organized Christianity religion as far as church, what's being preached there is watered down from the truth and hasn't still feared people being Baptist Pentecostal. Has instilled fear in people like being Baptist Pentecostal. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Every version of religion that I've come across in my life, and I've looked at all of them, or all of them that I could find anyway. I'm sure there's some that I missed, but the ones that I could find, even the tribe people, I've looked at their religions too. They're all watered down versions of what really happened. And what really happened, really happened. And it's all like different perspectives of people from different places that form ideologies based on what they experienced. The truth is black and white. The truth is there. The truth is that we come from a world far stranger and far weirder than you ever thought possible. And the more you dig, the weirder it gets. But we are real. This is a real thing. And we're endeavoring to uncover it on this channel as untethered as possible. And I am aware of the irony that in and of itself is a religion. I can't help it. I didn't make the rules. I'm trying to abstain from religiosity. But that itself is an ideology. So, call it what you want to call it. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it. Or as best as I can with this 3-pound brain of mine. Any God that would fit in my 3-pound brain is not worth worshiping. Understand that up front. You can't contain a being that is outside of time, space, and matter and the multiplicity of what he is capable of. You can't contain it. It'll burn your brain out trying to. It'll make you mad. I know. I've been going down this road for 40 years. People say that I'm mad. That's why. But if I can wrap my head around it enough to live a life that will ensure that I get into the whatever's coming next, I'm all right with that. I don't know about you. I don't need to be in the city with God, up under Jesus' arm. I'm perfectly happy being the guy sweeping up outside the fence with a little tent pitched right there, right inside the gate. I'm okay with that. I'm not perfect. I'm not even a good man, let alone a great one. But I'm trying, and that's all I ask of you is to try. Move forward towards God. That's it. Hope that answers your question. Mark says, Judy, it's a pie crust cut in roughly 3-inch round circles, enough to fill a cupcake tray. Tray. They both look wrong. But if they taste good, that's all that matters. Or s'mores looks wrong too, but yummy. Lady B says, Bill, I love my friends. All my family has passed. Pretty much mine too, Lady B. I hear you. I got one left. Amber says, Judy, you try it. I'm watching your face. Depending on your reaction, I might. Amy says, group hug. I love you, ladies and gentlemen. April renews her membership for 20 months. You go, girl. Much love, Jake, Amanda, and family. God bless. Mark says, and the filling is corn syrup, raisins, nutmeg, brown sugar, salt, and those things. Amber says, sounds like something Nugget would be trying to get us to try. Biscuits at 2 a.m. Yeah. Speaking of which, where is John Nugget? Has anybody got his address? His contact? Reach out and make sure he's okay. And also, if anybody knows how to contact Patty, I haven't seen her in a couple days. I might reach out, see if she's all right, and tell her we're thinking about her. Mark says, once it cools below 75 or 80, roughly, you add eggs to thicken and all. Right on. Amanda says, oh, no. Just Nailed it. Mark says, oh, so good, but I'll shush about butter tarts. They make me hungry. Lady B says, we enjoy it, Mark. It's a nice change of subject. A guy cooking. I cook all the time. Amy says, woohoo, April. And thank you for the super chat. CashApp $, Jake Johnson Band. Mark says, I enjoy making my life enjoyable, Lady B. LOL. And April going ham. April going ham. She's just taking care of me, that's all. April says, take my breath away. Ooh, Jake, bravo, love. I love it. Thank you. Lady B says, April, are you going to pay yourself starting January? It's awful private, don't you think? Lady B says, I love it, Mark. You are a breath of fresh air. Prayers. Mark says, because I ain't doing that anymore. Judy says, really sounds good, Mark. And April says, yes, I'm always waiting for Jake's chat to jump. Hang on. April says, yes, I'm always giving thought. It comes back. Believe me, God is good. I love my family. Man, your family loves you too, honey. Amber says, almost food time. You ain't lying. Lady B says, Mark, I am saving to go to Italy. Work and save and live life. Keep God first. That's right. Keep God first. Amber says, Jake, guess what? You remind me I enjoy. Well, I enjoy you too. You reminded me I enjoy. What do you enjoy? I guess that was a Jake comma. Guess what you reminded me I enjoy? What? Question mark. Mark says, why Italy? Family, vacation, beauty, pizza, Tuscany. What's that guy with the blonde hair on those dirty book covers? Lady porn. What's that guy's name? You know the guy got hit by a bird on a roller coaster. Amy says, does Mark have Facebook? I don't know. Mark, do you have Facebook? If so, go to facebook.com/UntetheredLive chilling. The link is in the chat. Go check it out. It's a great place to share pictures, videos, text, and chat. And we have a group chat over there for members where you can contact one another and get private stuff passed back and forth. It's all over there. And you can have Facebook Messenger and not have Facebook. Amber says, Otter guy, why not Italy? April says, I haven't sent anything in a while, and I used to always send something every podcast, but Jake deserves everything he gets. He's very humble, and I love you, Jake. And Amanda is the best person I know. Well, thank you, honey. It has been a while, but that's all right. I will survive. I get whatever God sends my way, and I accept it. No questions asked. I never put a dollar amount. You owe me nothing. But if you want to give, you can. It's available. So if God puts it on your heart to do so, please do. If you don't. It's that simple. And you helped me through some really tough times back in when I first got this thing going, and you helped pay for it. So God bless you and thank you for that. And everyone here owes you a debt of gratitude, including me. But thank you for the compliment. I don't know if I'm humble, but I try. Mark says, Amy, I do. It's the same name and the same picture. I'm on Facebook page. Okay. Lady B says, something I have wanted to do since my dad passed. He was stationed in Italy in WW2, and the food and culture and the music and architecture I also want to visit Greenland. You might be surprised. It's kind of icy. Not like Iceland, which is very green. And Mark says, fair, Amber. Amber says, LOLOLOL. Amy, that's Otter Dude. And no. And Amanda says, $ Jake Johnson Band. Feed Jake and Amanda. Thank you, honey. Amber says, see? Smiley, smiley. April says, love you, Amanda. Give triple hugs and kisses for me. How is the adorable puppy? Harry. Looks like a greasy little rat dog. But that's what those little dogs look like when they get grown. But she's big. She's not a little dog anymore. She's like 80 pounds and 3 foot tall. Got fangs 2 inches thick. April says, amen, Jake. Prayers. And Judy says, you are a good man, Jake. Thank you, Judy. I appreciate that very much. I hope that I am. I don't think that I am. I'm a man in search of something. That's what I am. I'm a man trying to do something positive with what life I have left. I've squandered the first half of it, or 3/4 of it, chasing neon dreams, thinking I was special, thinking I was somebody, and it took just a little time to show me I wasn't. It wasn't very hard at all. It knocked me over pretty quickly. And I learned that I am not anything special, and I am not indestructible, and it don't take but that much time to lose everything you worked 40 years to gain. And so it woke me up. And ever since, I've been trying to put something good into the world that other people can benefit from. God gave me some gifts, and I would like for you to have them. I'm not going to be here much longer. So while I'm here, I want you to have what I've got. And I hope that that means something. I hope that translates to good somewhere down the road. That's the best I can do. April says, yes, prayers and heart. Lady B says, Amanda, I sent a lot of gifts in November because I knew my homeowner's insurance would be in December. All right. Amanda says, it's all good, Lady B. Amber says, Otter Guy. I usually am fair. It's what keeps me open-minded. But be careful you don't be open-minded so much that your brain falls out. Keep your brain in there. It's okay to be open-minded, but keep it open just wide enough that your brain stays in. A little closed-mindedness goes a long way is what I'm saying. Amber says, I usually see the point or mission of both sides of conversation. And Lady B says, I sent a lot in November, will in January, and the rest of the year too. All right. April says, I'll text you the address here at Mom's, Amanda. Okay, good. Then we can send you your Christmas card. Wasn't sure where to send it. Now we know. And also your hoodie. You know you got one coming, right? Amy says, I sent Mark a message on Facebook Messenger. All right. And Amanda says, okay, April. And Amber says, Otter Guy, do you mind me calling you Otter Guy? I got to find where I left off. Hang on. 10:34. Okay. Lady B says, April, do you want a Christmas card? It will be late. Lady B says, Amy, can you get Facebook Messenger without Facebook? Yes, you can. You don't need Facebook to have the Messenger. You might need a Facebook page, but you don't ever have to visit it. I don't know. I think you can sign up without a Facebook page through Messenger. I think you can make a profile on Messenger that isn't a Facebook page. I'm not sure about that, but what's the harm in making a Facebook page? You never have to go to it ever again. but use it as the messenger. April says, sure, I do, lady. My email is aprilrain75@gmail.com. Or april.rain75. Don't forget the dot. April.rain. Amber says, fried bologna sandwich with over medium egg. Jake, that's what I enjoy. That might be what I'm having for dinner tonight. So, yeah, I enjoy those too. Gotta make it. It gotta be beef bologna, and you gotta fry it. I don't like bologna without it. But if you fry it and put mustard on it and toast, I can eat that, and it's pretty good. There's something about the flavor of the bologna when it fries, you know, the char. Something about that flavor that's good. Amanda says, yes, lady. And Amy says, Fabio, that's the guy I was thinking of. I was thinking everything but that. I couldn't get his name to come. I was thinking Arnold and all kinds of things. But yeah, Fabio, that guy. Why to go to Italy? Fabio. Lady Smut books. You guys remember those? Like Anastasia Steele books. Lady porn, that's what that is. Lady B says, excellent, April. I will email you also. Thank you, sweetheart. Prayers. Amber says, I got a pack of thick sliced bologna because you were happy eating a fried egg sandwich. I am happy eating a fried egg sandwich. I am not a picky man. I'm not entitled, and I'm not bossy, and I'm not needy. If you feed me, I'm happy. Whatever you put in front of me, I'm going to eat it, even if I don't like it. I'm not going to complain. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do because God gave me a life, and I'm happy to have it. And I'll take whatever I can get because whatever I can get, I don't deserve, but I get it anyway. I'll take it. I have no right to complain. Mark says, if you mean me, Amber, no, I don't mind. You can call me Otter Guy. I'll be your Otter Guy. Because I'm utterly amazing. Odder than a $2 bill. Mark says, this will be the second nickname you've given me, if I recall correctly. Probably. Amber says, yes, I do mean you, Otter Guy. Thank you. And Amy says, please delete your private email addresses from the chat. Thank you. Yes, if you don't want your email shared, don't leave it in the chat. It's much better to use the group chat on Messenger, which is why we set it up over on the Facebook page, so that you can share private information amongst yourselves. There's nobody else going to be there. We do not allow friends. We do not allow associates. It's just for us. That's what that page is for. So you can be reasonably sure that your information will be safe there. But it ain't safe here. Everybody in the world can read this. And Judy says, I love fried bologna. Me too. I don't love it, but I like it. I don't love potted meat, but I like it, and I'll eat it. Something good about it. Mark says, Lady B, you need the Messenger app, but you don't need to have an active Facebook. That's what I thought. You can sign up through Messenger, can't you? You don't even need to have a Facebook page, right? Amanda says, here's the link. I'm guessing that's not our Facebook page. What is that? To a Messenger? That is our Facebook page. Okay. I didn't recognize the Got it. Amber says, good, Otter Guy. Let's keep this one. I enjoy the core memory. April says, you're welcome. That's what family does. And believe me, appreciate all you've done here for me and everyone here. Well, thank you for that, April. That means the world to me. And I appreciate having you to do it for. If I've made a difference at all, that's mission accomplished as far as I'm concerned. And Amanda says, that's the chilling page up above. It looks different, but it goes to the chilling page. And Lady B says, thank you, Mark. Will you send me the link? Can I set it up as Lady Biker? Sure. I don't want my real name on that. You don't have to put anything that's real on that. You can set it up as whatever you want it to. And you can just Google Messenger, Facebook Messenger, or go to Play Store, or if you have an Apple, go to Apple Store. It's right there. Get it for free. It's called Facebook Messenger. Looks like a lightning bolt in a round circle, as opposed to the square circle. Mark says, anytime, Amber. I'm glad. April says, oh, I bet he's a furball. He is. She is. She is. She's got so much hair she can't even see. Look like the old cartoon of the sheepdog with the hair all down in her face. She looks like a sheepdog. She does not, Mark. Lady B, do you have a Facebook account linked to your phone? She does not. Mark says, and the Facebook Messenger app on your phone. Probably not, but you can get it from your phone. Just go to Google Play Store or Apple Store and download it. It's free. And Lady B says, I don't. I was given a Samsung tablet as a Christmas gift over the weekend. Can I use it? Yes. Just look for Google Play Store or Apple, whatever kind of, a Samsung tablet would be an Android. So look for Google Play Store and go there and just type in Facebook Messenger and download it. Amber says, I'm going to warm my potato soup. I'm excited. My sugar is low enough I can have carbs. Don't overdo it, honey. Potato soup is high in carbs. Mark says, you should be able to, as long as it isn't a 15-year-old tablet. Right. Yeah, it does kind of run slow on old machines, but if it's a regular, relatively new machine, you won't have no problem. April says, that's good, Amber. That sounds good. Potato soup. Amy says, I'm finishing the Subway sandwich from my lunch or dinner. Subway's good. I don't know what we're going to eat tonight. We got to go get something. Whatever it is, it'll be quick because it's late. Amber says, I'm listening, but over there. Over where? Mark says, once you download both and log in, you can deactivate the actual Facebook account, but it keeps Messenger active. Okay, so you do have to have a Facebook page to have Messenger. But you can deactivate the page once you set it up. April says, I meant the potato soup sounded good. It does sound good. Not by itself. Maybe it was a ham hock in it or something. And Mark says, Amy did let me check that. And Amber says, thank you, Amy. April says, oh, I do. Did I miss something? Oh, hoodies. Well, you got one coming. Mark says, I don't see a message currently. Lady B says, Mark, I have only had TikTok. I deleted it after breaches were made. I have never wanted a Facebook account. I have seen lives destroyed and jobs lost and families depleted from Facebook. I will do Messenger. Well, let me just say, Facebook did not destroy lives or jobs. The people that used it did. All things, you have control over what you do. We have a Facebook page. We don't allow anybody to go to that Facebook page except people that are in this chat, mostly members. And the reason for that is we want it to be clean and not full of a bunch of garbage, a bunch of scrolling nonsense. It's for us to get together and to communicate with one another for business or for whatever we're doing in the chat. Something outside of YouTube that we can get together off-site at any time, day and night, not while I'm live, and you guys can chat. Or you can chat while the live stream and not have chat going on here. You can use it that way. But it's the people that destroy their lives, not the Facebook. Facebook is just a device. It doesn't do anything. It's just there. And if you have self-discipline, you will not have that problem. Messenger is just a communication device. It doesn't do anything but chat. And like I said before, if you have to set up a Facebook page to use Facebook Messenger, you never have to go to that Facebook page ever again. You could use some random nonsense to set it up and then have Facebook Messenger and just use that. But I think you can set it up without a Facebook page. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to play with it. April says, I'm so happy we all have a good sense of humor. I love you all. Prayers and hearts. Me too. I've got a strange sense of humor that most people don't get right off the bat. You have to get to know me before you see it. Once you see it, then it's apparent. Then you know that I'm joking. Most people think I'm serious when I'm not. It's the resting bitch face. I can't do anything about that. Mark says, it just came through, Amy. Got it. April says, yes, you can download Messenger. And Lady B says, Facebook isn't an option. Thank you for helping, though. Well, that's up to you. I'm just answering your questions. You don't want to do Facebook? You don't have to. But you can't talk to us unless you're on Facebook Messenger. I've provided a platform. If you don't want to use it, that's your business. But it's there. It is for you, and it is free. Amanda says, go to the Play Store and download Messenger. It's the blue circle with the lightning bolt. And April says, yes, that sounds good too. And Mark says, I agree. I agree with that sentiment, Lady B. TikTok can be just as bad, but you'll need to make a Facebook account originally to be able to have Messenger account. Okay, so that answers my question. Amber says, yes, Jake, and that's what you reminded me. Ooey gooey egg. I love eggs from my head down to my legs. I love eggs. Remember that commercial? Tossed salads and scrambled eggs. They're coming again. 'Cause I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs. April says, yes, LOL. Lady B says, I want Messenger, but not Facebook. Thank you again for your time, Mark. You have been kind about it. Thank you, though. April says, haha, Jake. Mark says, sorry, I couldn't be more help, but I'll gladly help you further. Mark says, even make a fake email address to make a Facebook simply for the Facebook account. Take 5 minutes max. Lady B says, I really enjoyed TikTok. I still have friends from there and going to a wedding next year from TikTok. My sweet friend finally found a man that puts God first before anything. So happy for them both. Amber says, hugged, y'all. I'm going to finish my last 3 cards of Christmas and annoy friends on Messenger. All right. Well, we love you, Amber. Thank you for being here. I'm not far behind you. And Lady B says, you are awesome, Mark. Amber says, good night, Amber. And Mark says, thank you, Lady B. I needed that. Amber says, hearts and smiley faces and prayers. Lady B says, April, what is funny? We would like to be in on the humor. I'm funny. Duh. We can't all get the humor. Some of it goes over our heads. Lady B says, Mark, you and Kevin are really nice. It's appreciated. April says, just the way we cut up. and the way Jake reads them. Lady B says, I am still hearing the song with volume down. Is he back? Is who back? April says, everyone here is amazing. And Mark says, Lady B, he's been back for a bit. He is, in fact, back. Chat jump, oh, chat jump. Lady B says, I must be kicked out. Amanda says, he's been back, lady. Refresh. Lady B says, still hearing music, but it's low. Amber says, over in the kitchen getting my soup. I'll start you and Miss Hammer some sandwiches. Nice. I'll take one. Might be a little late for dinner. I'm pretty sure it's a drive, but we're coming. Lady B says, oh, there he is. Amber says, Miss Hammer, how do you like your fried egg? Fried. April says, love and hugs to you all. May God bless you, sweet dreams to everyone. Thanks, Jake and Amanda. Prayers, hearts, and kissy faces. Thank you, April, and God bless you too. And Amanda says, it depends. I like all eggs. Me too. I've never met an egg I didn't like. That's a good egg. Amanda says, good night, April. Amber says, not sure how many get to make Miss Hammer a sandwich, but I'd be happy and excited to. So far, she does the sandwich making, but I would gladly make her one if she wanted me to. Amy says, snow glitter sandwich. Yeah. Glitter, get it between your teeth. Amber says, Jake, happy. Miss Hammer, excited. Y'all do so much for us, and I'm so glad you're happy. Mark says, it's okay. Facebook won't let me add Amy to my friends list. That's weird. Maybe she has to add you. Sometimes it works that way. Amanda says, I like runny egg sandwiches, like over easy on a sandwich. So good. Me too if it's on toast. I don't like bread on a sandwich. I like toast on a sandwich because it's crunchy, like a sandwich should be. Amber says, LOL, Amy, you were warned. That kind of love. You were whammed. Is that warmed or whammed? I can't tell. You were warned? That kind of love. Okay. Amy says, we tried, Mark, but we're on Messenger now anyway. Got it. And Mark says, it's like, nope. You can only talk to people you know. F off, Zuckerberg. Right? Lady B says, I love Jake's sense of humor. Well, thank you. Me too. Amber says, soft yellow, Miss Hammer, I got you. Yay, Waffle House skills. Now you got it. You understand. I grew up in a Waffle House, so it's kind of where my tastes lie. You know, greasy and a C on the cleanliness scale. Food ain't food unless it's a little dangerous. Mark says, it's good enough for now. Maybe later the Zuck will realize people between countries can still become friends. I hope you can get in, Mark. April says, yay, I worked for Waffle House, too. Woohoo, me too, for 1 minute. I got as far as, in the training, I got as far as when they started putting those little jelly packets on the plate to tell the cook what to cook. But they wouldn't let me write it down. I was like, no, I'm going to Huddle House across the street. I don't have time to learn your hieroglyphics code with jellies. Just let me write it on a ticket. That's what the ticket hanger's for. Amanda says, Mark, I sent you a message from the Facebook page. I can't send you a friend request. Apparently there's something between America and Canada that won't allow it to go through. I'm not sure what, though. Amy says, I'm going home. I'll be driving while listening. I'll be diddling White Larry. Where's Aaron at tonight, by the way? Amber says, eyes scattered, smothered, and topped for Miss Hammer. Yes. Go team, go. We got this. Lady B says, can I use a DuckDuckGo address? I'm sure you can. April says, woohoo, Amber. And April says, yes, that does exist, LOL. Yes, it does. Amber says, fabulous. Linda says, good night. Good night, Amber. Joseph Prince Fan Club says, because grace. I agree. Welcome, Joseph. Come on in. April says, some of it goes over my head, too, because I know it takes me a second. Well, I do my best to explain it. Mark says, Amanda just relieved it and sent a friend request back. I can't tell if it worked, but one can hope. And thank you for the support. Amen. Lady B says, will you please make my eggs over medium? And April says, hi, Joseph. Good to see you. Thumbs up and smiley face and hearts. Judy says, hey, Joseph. Mark says, the Waffle House Index is crazy, April. Did you ever work there whilst the natural disaster index was in place? Is the Waffle House Index a real thing? I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't get that far in the training. April says, Linda, lovely. Good to see you. Hugs. And April says, yes, I did know. Or yes, I did. I know exactly what you're talking about. Joseph says, hi, y'all. Thank you for being friendly. You're welcome. Come on in. Tell us who you are and where you're from. Amber says, Otter. Yes, believe anything you hear about the Waffle House, a.k.a. Awful Waffle. April says, you're welcome, Joseph. Hugs. Lady B says, Mark, YouTube rules. Mark says, crazy to believe that it's an actuality. LOL. Lady B says, welcome, Joseph. Prayers. Mark says, sorry you had to work during such a crisis, but dang, LOL. I thought it was all hype. I don't know what you're talking about unless you're talking about a COVID thing. April says, haha, LOL. Mark says, YouTube drools, Lady B. Yep, that's why I'm on 11 other platforms. Amber says, draw place, Mark, LOL. The call was worse. I was waitress for years there. April says, some of the Waffle Houses, yes, for some lack good help. Mark says, as a German Canadian, it all seems wild to me. Amanda says, to anyone in the chat group, you can turn off your notification sound, and when the chat goes crazy, you won't have to hear it every time, but will still receive the messages. Just check it every day. That's a good way to do it. And April says, such a pity. Such a pity. And yes, I was there before the stop mark. I pull. A stop mark and pull. I don't know what any of that means. Lady B says, Mark. Mark says, the stop, mark, and pull. And April says, and when they, for the POS systems, and also, geez, everything is crazy now. I do know what a POS is. Oddly enough, it does not mean piece of shit, which you'd think it would. April says, when they set up the POS system, I mean. Lady B says, Jake, which platforms is your favorite? The one that pays me. I actually like Rumble better, but I get paid on YouTube, so I'll take it. Points of sales, says Mark, not piece of shit. Right. Mark says, yeah, which is your favorite platform? The one that pays me. I don't really have a preference other than that. I do like Rumble better. I like the way it looks better. However, YouTube has more options than Rumble has. So it's more user-friendly. It's more usable, more customizable. But I like the way it looks better, and I like that it stands for free speech better. I don't like being censored. Amanda says, when April and I, came to North Carolina, that's all she wanted to eat was Waffle House. LOL, I'm going to call her Waffle House Queen. Lady B says, what is stop, mark, and pull? Don't know. Mark says, that's what I mean, or that's what I want to know, is what is stop, mark, and pull. It's a Waffle House thing. All I know is it's a Waffle House thing. April says, crazy and always loud, especially mornings. I worked graveyard shift 3 nights a week for 5 years, off and on. And when they needed me, and I had a medic's receptionist job, so I slowly got away eventually. LOL. Not a bad job. And Mark says, I'm effing scared. Of what, Mark? Waffle House? No need. And Lady B says, not money, Jake, the friendliest. Oh, I don't care about that. I take all kinds, and most of them are trolls. I understand. I'm talking about platforms, but people are people everywhere you go. As far as friendliest, I don't think there is a friendliest platform. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Canadian. Mark? The one that pays you. Makes 100% sense. Sounds good. YouTube is full of censorship. It really is. It really, really is. And they have taken my things down before. So I have to play their game, kind of. And I don't like that. So I like Rumble better. They've never bothered me once. And I put everything on Rumble that I put on YouTube. And YouTube has hit me all kinds of ways from Sunday and copyright claims and the whole shebang. Rumble's never bothered me, so I like it better. As far as friendliest goes, well, I got more friends on YouTube, so I guess YouTube would be the friendliest, but they're all the same. I talk to the people when I'm on Rumble the same way I talk to you guys, and they respond the same way. The difference is I know most of the people here. We've been together for 10 years or so, or close. And so these are like family members. So I'm like talking to people in my living room here. So I guess that would be your answer. Mark says, better pay, but more stress, I'd guess. Hey, April? Yes. Joseph Fan Club says, I met my first girlfriend at Waffle House 5 times till she met a good fella with a job and runt off to Vegas. She runt off? Well, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, I guess. April says, 𝕊𝕬𝕬𝕪, Amanda. Lady B says, sounds like a vending machine from the 70s. April says, when you call an order out loud to the cook. Right. Yeah, they don't write tickets at Waffle House. They yell over the counter, and the cook hears them and then starts cooking, and then you go over and set a plate up and put a jelly pack in a certain place or in a certain direction, which tells him which plate goes to which order. And it's confusing, and it's cumbersome, and it's easy to make mistakes, and it's easy to get misheard or to not be heard at all over the noise. There's a lot that could go wrong with that system. It's so much easier to just write it down and stick it in front of the cook and let him cook it, an order at a time. Don't know why they won't do it that way. April says, if it was mean like bacon, you'd say one bacon. Lady B says, Amanda, my friend, getting married. I met on TikTok. She is grr. Amanda says, thank you, Mark. And yes, thank you, Mark. I appreciate the super chat. $ Jake Johnson Band on Cash App. Shh. Mark says, I'm scared of the stop, mark, and pull, Jake. The stop, mark, and pull. I get it, because that's your name. You don't want to be stopped or pulled. I got it. Could be fun, though. Depends on how they're pulling you and how many times and how tight their grip is. Lady B says she is from Cameron, North Carolina. I love her. She's right around the corner from me. Amanda says, cool, lady. I don't know where that is in relation to us. I've just gotten all of our area figured out fully so I can go where I need to. Lady B says, I'm a newbie. Took me 3 months to decide to be a member. Been watching you for about 9 months. That's great. I'm glad you're a member. You won't regret it. April says, Mark, woohoo, thank you, love. There we go. Mark says, longer than me still, Lady B. I've been here for 2.5 months, and I've been a member for 2 months. Nice. Well, I'm glad you're here. Lady B says, Amanda, go to Google Maps and put in Cameron, North Carolina in your location. Tell how far you are. I might swing by to see y'all after the wedding. Mark says, sorry, random, I know, but Jake, what did goy mean by Abraham's bosom? Abraham's butt? No, who is goy? Goy means Gentile in Jewish speak. Abraham's bosom is paradise. It's a place where souls go when you die. There's a good side and a bad side. And the good side can see the bad side, but they can't communicate. They can just see each other. And when you die, that's where your spirit goes until Judgment Day, until Christ came. When Christ died on the cross, he went down to Abraham's bosom and released all the spirits back to God. So now when you die, you go back to the Father instead of to Abraham's bosom. So paradise is now closed. Paradise being the place where spirits go to wait. It's a waiting room. That's what Abraham's bosom is, not his butt. Bosom is your chest, by the way, or your breast. If you have a jacket on and you stick your hand in your jacket, that's called putting your hand in your bosom. It's old speak. Mark says, oh, off topic and an hour late, I know, but it was a question I've had. Well, now you've got the answer, and I want you to ask any question you have. That's why I'm here, to answer questions. And I want to answer them all. I want to make sure that you are well informed. Amanda says, his chest, Mark. Mark says, oh, off his chest, says his truth. Mark says, speaking from his chest, I hear bosom as butt. Nope, that's a bottom, not a bosom. And Lady B says, stop and pull. Grab the coconut candy bar with the colored slices from Lance. Do you remember this candy, Jake? I do not. I don't eat things with coconut in them. Except for those little donuts that are called Crunch from Hostess. I like those. Amanda says, 21-month member since the day Jake got monetized. April also. And we were the first 2 members. Amen. And thank you so much. That's why you got a badge. And Lady B says, mark a thing. April says, I love you all. See you Wednesday. Mwah. Love you, April. See you Wednesday. And Lady B says, Marva anything. And Amanda says, good night, April. Mark says, good night, April. Lady B says, anything in my life. Take time and mull it over. That applies to anything. I hear you. April says, good night, everyone. Say your prayers. Love you. I do, constantly. Lady B says, good night, April. Linda says, good night, April. Why are you being so quiet, Linda? Amanda says, lady, she is 137 miles from us. Lady B says, I can't type. My magnesium glycinate is kicking in. Getting sleepy. Love y'all. That magnesium glycinate can be rough on you. April says, hit that like button, subscribe, share, support, hugs, and lots of love. Thank you, ma'am. Lady B says, Jake said around the corner. I did. The corners are big in North Carolina. Have you seen it? It's a big, long state. Judy says, bye, April. And Amanda says, good night, lady. And the Lady B says, Jake, smiley, smiley. And that's it. That's the bottom of the chat. Thank you all so very much for everything you do. I love you true from the bottom of my heart. I've enjoyed tonight. I hope you have too. I hope you learned something. I hope you walk away with something good. That's what we're here for. Amanda says, good night all. See you Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for a chill stream. Much love, y'all. And Linda says, busy house tonight. I keep getting interrupted. I hear you. I love you, though. You know that, right? Judy says, good night, lady. And Joseph says, how did Jacob win his wrestling match with the angel of the Lord? He cheated. Sorry. He cheated. He wouldn't let go. He got a hold and would not let go. So God had to cripple him to make him let go. So he didn't actually win, but he would have if God hadn't crippled him. And he walked with a limp the rest of his life because of that wrestling match. Interestingly enough, the word Israel, which is what they changed Jacob's name to later on, the word means, transliterated, it means to wrestle with God, which means if you're not questioning it, if you're not struggling with it, if you're not delving into it to learn, you're not Christianing right, which is why we exist. So welcome to the show. Hit that subscribe button, Joseph. You'll learn some things here. Kevin says, good night, everybody. Kevin, God bless you, my friend. And Linda says, at least I got to listen in peace. Amen, honey. Lady B says, love you, Judy. Debbie says, good night, all. Debbie, I love you, sweetie. Thank you for being here. Judy says, good night, y'all. And Lady B, heart. Judy, good night. Love you. And Linda says, good night, all. I love you and appreciate you. I appreciate you, too, so very much. I do. Mark says, good night, everyone. 'Twas a good Monday night. May God bless you all until we meet again. Amen. Mark, God bless you, my friend. Lady B says, Judy, send me your address, email next time. All right. God bless you all. Thanks for watching.